one of the first things that Death Knight changes that are coming about that's going to be really good, quality of life change, is probably going to be the new reaping change.
Wait, wait,
This is where
wait.
you. Oh,
we
oh,
did. We
I was about to go all in it.
we introduced nothing.
We didn't. We were just going right into it,
We were
diving
just
right
going
in.
there right into it. Yeah.
Uh,
Was that breath freshener? Or what was that?
that was breath freshener, man. I'm all ready.
Oh, okay, let me put on my glasses. I want to be all smart. Okay. I want to be all smart when I do this. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Unreviewed Podcast. We're going to be talking about the 5.2 patch notes and the changes that's coming into the game. And I know a lot of people do not like some of the stuff, and some people love some of the stuff. I got with me Sparknuts.
What's going on, guys?
As you know, he's mage warrior. Now he's playing the unholy DK. He got some experience playing the Death Knight. So how we gonna do this? We're basically just gonna talk about the buffs, some of the nerfs, some of the things we think need changing. Maybe some of the nerfs just too much, and some of the buffs are just crazy. Like monks buffs are
Oh,
insane right now.
I'm actually
So
afraid of Mistweavers. That's scary. That's the sad thing that I'm scared of Mistweavers killing me with the new buff changes.
yeah, pretty much. So we gonna start it off with Spartan X. He's gonna handle the Death Knights.
All right, guys. Well, for the Death Knights, the first couple changes I want to talk about are more so quality of life changes rather than anything. The new Reaping, which will make Icy Touch Glyph really, really good. It's going to make it where you can apply Reaping and it converts a Frost Rune into a Death Rune, which is fantastic. Not only does that help us with our Necrotic Strikes, but it also makes it where you can just spam 5 to 6 Icy Touches to get some quick dispels off in between time. So I think that's going to be a really nice change for us, and it's something that we needed. I think the community as a whole has been asking for that for a while, so Blizzard kind of finally listened on that one. The second change is the Gargoyle. Our Gargoyle right now, you have to kind of build up runic power to summon it, and you can't really burst as effectively as you would like to. So for Unholy Death Knights, this is going to be really nice for the fact that we can actually, just pop our Gargoyle right now. It'll just be on a 3-minute cooldown, and it's gonna be just a quality of life change that's gonna make it a lot easier for us to be effective in PvP. Frost has not really gotten so much changes. I think Frost is in a good spot. The survivability change with conversion is going to be helping Frost DKs along with Unholy Death Knights as well. Right now on live, it's 10 runic power and then 10 runic power per second after that, and it regenerates 3% of your health. So it acts as a second win. But in the new 5.2, it's going to be half that. So it's going to be 5 runic power, then 5 after that. And as Frost, since you generate more runic power in Frost Presence, it's going to be a lot easier for Frost to have a sustained heal that sets on him. It'll still be good for Unholy Death Knights, but it's more aimed towards Frost. It's going to be really good against certain comps, like a dot cleave comp, something like that. Having that dot heal for yourself, you can just AMS, LOS somebody and try to heal yourself up. So that's going to be a really nice change. You're still going to have to use Death Pact. Uh, on certain cleaves like KFC and stuff like that, just because the damage is too crazy. Now, some suggestions I would like to give Blizzard that I think would be really nice for Death Knights is give us a few more pills. Give us something. I mean, we have Death Grip, we have Chillbane's Chains of Ice, which freezes them in place. And other than that, I mean, I don't even wouldn't really consider Remorseless Winter something that you could consider a peel, so to say, in Arena because it's not used as much. It's not as strong. But if they adjusted it, maybe it would be used more. But I just feel that it would be really nice if we had, maybe one more CC or just a little bit more control in Arena. Right now, we just go kill healers, and that's pretty much it. But aside from that, Stringulate's being reduced down from 2 minutes to 1 minute. I think that's a really cool thing. I mean, it's used more so to prevent a kill on your teammate than it is to really kill a healer anyway, considering we just stack necrotic strikes up their butt. So just give us a little bit more defensives, and I think we're going to be super fine. So that's it for DKs.
Sweet. So basically, Unholy is gonna be very, very valuable. I think they have actually more survivability than What, Frost? They
Oh yeah,
should.
I would say they have more survivability than Frost.
Ah, sweet. What you think about Shadow Play?
Oh man, Shadowplay is gonna be crazy. It's gonna
So,
be really really crazy.
okay. Um, I'm gonna skip down to it and start talking about the monk changes. I'm gonna skip over, start talking about the monk changes. Monks are finally gonna have their place in the game. Right, when first introduced, they were lackluster. Their damage was crappy. They did still have good survivability. They are very known for their speed and getting away, which is quite annoying for someone that plays a lock as myself that playing Destro. But Demo we can lock down. Monk's pretty good. But first changes that I would like to talk about was is the Ring of Peace. Now, according to Mr. Ghostcrawler himself, that Ring of Peace is working as intended. The 8 second silence that's not you can't trick it and it can be cast up on an enemy player or somebody that's on your team doing arenas, and it does not share a DR with anything. So right now on the PTR, when you see a monk in arenas, this is one of his first abilities that he is actually using, and they just veeving the healer down. So because say if it's a melee cleave, he put Ring of Peace on the healer, they veeving the healer. The melee team really can't just go into the ring because they're gonna be disarmed. So they you have to be outside of the ring to do anything. So for as melee, it's gonna suck, but as far as caster, they still have a window of opportunity to get a spell off. Another new spell they introduced is called let me get this try to get this right on the first try. Storm. It's a Storm, Earth, and Fire, I believe. If I'm wrong, I totally apologize. But um, what it does is they basically splitting themselves in half as a spirit and attacking a opposite target. Now, to for their abilities to actually copy, they have to attack two different targets. They can't attack the same target, and if you're attacking the same target, they would not copy their combat or whatever they're doing. If they, it's kind of suck. I would say that you cannot Viva Healer while using the spell because the damage is really cut in half. I know when summoning one spirit, the damage is reduced by 60%. You summon another spirit, it's reduced by 40%. So when it comes to increasing the damage and maybe putting some pressure on somebody else, it would come good to say you going against a let's say wizard, the wizard cleave. You send one on the shadow priest, the mage. That way, there it's more damage. It's somewhat like a dot. When you say that spark,
Yeah, I would consider it something like a dot. It's just
it's
something to put pressure.
it's something to put in pressure somewhere else because right now, as you see when the monk is flying across the map, you know he's only attacking one target at a time unless he is putting touch of karma on somebody and they blowing him up and then the other person dies. So right now to actually just get put pressure on another target without him being over there, it's only a touch of karma, but with the new spell is basically pressure everywhere. So even though the clone itself is not doing much damage, but it's if you're not paying attention, it can go by as an ignored damage, which is really bad when it comes to arenas because you'll be dead before you know it, and you'll be sitting there wondering how. Um, Another buff that's been going on, as you see, if you have watched my monk videos, Chi Wave is is insane. It is healing for it's I can't even say what they increased it to because it really doesn't even seem that way. Because I could get dropped down to like 80, maybe 80K and be healed to full with one chi wave. Um, you there is a way that other monks are doing. If you actually paralyze the target and doing Fist of Fury, it does stop the chi wave early. So some monks are saying that it's really not all that good, but you have to let it heal the bounce 5 times to really get healed for full. And it's actually going to be pretty good in arenas because it goes to the nearest target with the lowest health. So basically, it's another heal that is being passed around in the arena. So I think monks are going to have finally have their spot, their cleave, and their position in arenas and RBGs. What you think, Spark?
I definitely agree with that. Monks are shaping up to be something that I'm going to be clenching my butt on if I encounter into arenas because the way they look right now, it's scary. It's definitely scary. Ring of Peace is going to be fearful, especially as a Death Knight that can be silenced and disarmed. I don't even want to think about it right now.
Yeah, then me playing as a warlock. I can't do nothing for 8 seconds. No trinket, no bubble, no anything. So it's gonna suck for melee. It's gonna suck for casters as well. Like I said, it is working as intended, but he did say if they feel that it is overpowered, they are going to change it. Um, I think all the other silences for other classes are between what 2 seconds to 6 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, 2 seconds to 6 seconds.
So really, monks are going to be the only class with an 8 second silence, and it does stack. It does not share a DR. So if you got a threes team of monks, that's kind of devastating.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know the possibilities. It's insane. It's something that I'm really curious to see if it does make it live. I'm curious to see the effects it's gonna have because you may see some triple monk DPS. I mean, or maybe not even DPS, but just triple monk teams, and I don't know, could get sketchy. But we'll see as time goes on. I'm sure they'll adjust different things on the PTR because there's some things right now that are a little overpowered for a couple classes. So.
Yeah, pretty much. Any main changes, Spark?
I actually don't really think there's been that many mage changes. Mages got hit pretty hard this last patch that come out, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they've done some adjustments to mana issues with Scorch, and a couple adjustments to Arcane. But for PvP survivability, oh, Cold Snap. That is one. Cold Snap currently heals you for 30%. And in 5.2, it's only going to heal you for 15%. Aside from that, there's not really any changes. But that's gonna suck a little bit because I didn't really feel personally that Cold Snap was overpowered. It was nice to have a heal besides evocation, but 15% heal, that's what they say. So and that's probably the way it's just gonna stick. They're wanting to keep us down and adjust us more to a control class instead of just a crazy burst control class like we were. We were out of whack.
Out of whack. All right, next class we are jumping on that a lot of people have been talking about and people have been catching heat on. Warriors. The
Oh,
nurse. The nurse in the 5.2. If you've seen Bachir's video, you have already seen the nurse that is coming up in 5.5.2 for the Warriors. Uh,
sorry you had to see that, Bajira. It was terrible.
it was terrible. So I'm gonna cover some of it. I'm gonna let Spartnus cover what he has over it. He's played a warrior during 5.1, so he knows about the class very well. So what you got?
Man, the biggest thing for me at the moment, they reverted the second wind change back to it's going to be normally 3%, just like it was. But the shockwave change is something that is going to be really something that we're going to have to look for and see how well it works because some people may just drop shockwave altogether, go Dragon's Roar and Stormbolt. I've seen that spec changed around. But for the most part, the getting to adjust yourself on having a 40-second shockwave is going to be something that a lot of warriors, if they want to continue playing warriors, you're going to have to really get used to, because you're not going to be able to get shockwave three people in a row in threes. It's going to be very rare when you get that chance to reduce that cost from 40 seconds to 20 seconds. And if you do, high five to you. But the chances of it happening is really slim. So all in all, I think warrior damage still needs to be changed a little bit because I think when the cooldown stacking system for warriors and hunters are a little bit broken. But aside from that, there's just a few changes that they've come out with Blade Storm. It can no longer be disarmed. Now, if they buff damage on Blade Storm a little bit and kept it where it can't be disarmed, I could see that definitely being used. But at the moment, Bladestorm just seems a little too weak.
That's it. Nothing
Um,
else. Nothing
see,
else.
I'm
Well,
I'm looking at.
they really haven't changed really much of that, nothing else because they did change second wind, but then they changed it back.
Yeah, they now I do see some mastery changes. They changed the mastery from 55% to 75%, and then they changed it back down to 55% again. Taste for blood. Let's see. I think it only gives you one stack of overpower now. It used to give you two originally, but I'm pretty sure they changed it to one and removed the rage cost. They did do a new glyph of insight, which whenever you use demoralizing shout, which is a talent, it'll make your next three heroic strikes free, which could be strong, but they buff slam so much. I don't know. We'll have to see. Uh, that I'm not sure how that glyph is going to play into the glyphs that are there now.
Yeah.
Glyph of overpower, which this is actually a really unique glyph. I actually kind of like what they're doing here, but I can see it being a little too overpowered. Um, no pun intended. Glyph of Overpower replaces Glyph of Die by the Sword. Whenever you use Die by the Sword, which is a 20% damage reduction and a 100% parry if you're in front of someone, every time you use Overpower, it's going to increase the duration of your Die by the Sword by 1 second for each use that you have. And remember, you can stack Overpower up to 5 times, so you could get 5 stacks, pop Die by the Sword, and give yourself 5 extra seconds while you're bursting on someone. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Oh wow. So extra seconds of parrying and deflecting people.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh,
nice.
that's a pretty good glyph. That is a the opportunities that you can do survivability wise.
Oh yeah, be
What you
nice.
could do. Um, so do you think they're just gonna remove heroic strike off the bar? Is it even worth having on the bar anymore?
Yeah, just simply because it's not on the global cooldown, I think they'll keep it. But I think they're trying to really push for people to use Slam. They're trying to buff it up. I don't think they've seen as much representation of Slam being used as they would like to, because everybody's just was using Glyph of Insight, which slowed the target by 50%. Almost worked like a hamstring whenever you used heroic strike, and people were just heroic strike overpower on one global cooldown, and that did about as much damage as a slam, but it saved you a lot of rage. So
Oh
I
wow.
think they're pushing people for more rage changes. From what I've heard, and I can't confirm it 100% myself, but from what I've heard, they've made it where you cannot set in D stance anymore. If you set in D stance as a arms warrior, you're not going to be able to get enough rage to really do damage. So there's going to be stance dancing. It's going to be back in 5.2. I call it now.
Okay. Was very unique about Warriors, the stand dancing. I really liked that. That was awesome. It was a very high skill cap when it came to playing Warriors just because of stance dancing.
Back in the day when you needed to get into berserker stance whenever you're fixing to just blow it all.
Yeah, pretty much. Now they changed it to where so you stance dancing will be back in 5.2.
Oh yeah, it'll be back.
Okay. All right. Now another class I want to talk about that's actually a representation of me are the warlock changes. We seeing some buffs, we are seeing some nerfs, some things I wish they had changed, but I'm just gonna go over it. Fell Hunter no longer have a silence, only an interrupt now. So is a having a pet is worth having now, or are they just taking pets completely out of the game for warlocks? Because in the new patch notes, they also removed the stamina buff that the imp gave and gave us to us in Dark Intent. So I know well in threes, sacrificing the pet is your best thing in RBGs, but as far as like you doing just random BGs and of some sort. I mean, are pets just worth having anymore? Especially doing two. It seemed like the best thing when doing twos was to have a pet just for the silence, so you can have a focus and focus target. And you know your enemy target. So you set the pet out on the healer, focus your the deeps. Um, when needed, silence your focus target. But that is totally removed. So I believe that is raising the skill cap in threes and also in RPG. Another thing that I'm actually kind of happy to see the changes to Blood Fear. Blood Fear was actually overpowered. They felt that the cost of the health was gonna be our downfall for us not changing it, but healing was so well for us like shamans. to just top us off real quick when using that fear. It really didn't infect healers that I mean affect warlocks at all. So Demo was the best spec during the time of 5.1, then 5.2, well 5.0, then 5.1 came out. People started going into Destros. People still going into Demo, but Blood Fear was sort of overpowered because he could just be spam every 10 seconds. So really, I never used it as much. I like my normal fear because you could fear more than one target with Blood Fear. You actually couldn't. Um, the spec that I really think that's gonna be very, very viable in threes and RBGs for 5.2, Affliction. They have done a lot of things to Affliction that is like the best spec now. Don't get me wrong, Destro is still gonna be nice. Demo is kind of okay. It does not have as much burst as it used to because the nerf to Chaos Wave, but it is known as a physical damage, and it goes through, you know, spell reflect. It goes through cloak of shadows. It still hits the target through those, which is a good benefit if you are a demo. But the thing they did to affliction is unstable affliction. They buffed it so much that it replaced the glyph and gave us a glyph. The glyph where it crits, and it replaced that glyph. It gave us a glyph where it reduced the cast time by 25%, which was actually unstable affliction with actually a long cast. Haste is basically affliction's best friend. So the more haste and mastery, you have to balance out between the haste and the mastery. But the more haste you have, the more reduced casting time that you have. For a 25% reduced casting time on unstable affliction is going to be very, very good. Another thing they did to Affliction was the Soul Shards. It is now a base stat of having four Soul Shards, which is really, really good in arenas because you can pop Trinket and Hunt spam. So now Affliction is really going to have a great burst when it comes to arenas to cast those Hunt off. And what healers are fearing most right now is the Dispel because I went on the PTR and I stacked a lot of mastery and I went to a tier 2 Shaman and he dispelled unstable affliction and he hit him for 90k and he was like Buckeye. He gasped like that is an insane amount of damage for unstable affliction to do. Um, so I really see Affliction making a comeback, especially with Shadow Play, Shadow Cleave, uh, teaming up with Unholy DK. It's spreading, as you call it, AIDS all over the place, and everybody's dying at the same time. That was the best thing about Shadow Play. Spread dots. Now you have a perfect dot protection. Once they dispel in one time, they not gonna dispel it again because you basically present the opportunity to put that person in an execute range to be killed and spreading dots all over the place. And so basically unstable affliction and unholy DK dots are going to stay there. They're not gonna be dispelled. If the healer dispel, he's crazy.
Yep, he's dead. No
He's
problem.
yeah, he's dead. He's dead. Another big change is the Grimoire of Sacrifice. It was nerfed, but not a big nerf, only nerfed by 5%. Um, Another thing is Sacrificial Pack, which is actually pretty good. People thought it was going to be a nerf. It actually wasn't a nerf. It was actually a buff. What they did was they nerfed Sacrificial Pack from 50% to 25%, but the buff the amount that okay, I'm gonna read it to you. Demon sacrifice 25% of his current health to the shield and shield of his master for 200% of the sacrifice health. They changed the 200% to actually 400% of the sacrifice health. So it's actually less killing, of your pets, because one without the advanced pets, you basically once sacrifice of the shield, you basically took over half of your pet health. So it's less health, but more of a shield now, which is pretty good. But just because of they taking everything away from the pets and just giving it to the warlock alone, it's really pointless to have a pet now. I guess it. really depends on your situation. Like the succubus, I really don't see why would you have the succubus in threes or RBGs when you can sacrifice the fell hunter and get to interrupt yourself and get the extra damage. Like the sacrifice your pet affliction used to be 50%, now it's 45%. Like I said, they reduce the benefit that you get for sacrificing your pet by 5%. Um, to go I didn't cover about Blood Fear, the changes that they did. Basically what the changes is it's a 30-second CD now. It has one charge whenever a melee hits you. You basically he basically get feared. And that's it. One charge, 30 seconds. That sucks. To me, honestly, I think they just need to replace that whole tier with something else. Even Mortal Coil. A suggestion I would like to give them about the Mortal Coil. Let us have Death Coil back and let Mortal Coil be a talent that would give us the heal. If we don't take that talent, we just still have Death Coil without the heal. Uh, since they didn't rework Blood Fear, and we really don't have as many CC abilities anymore since they took the 3 second silence away. Didn't they do the same thing to mages? They took away the blanket silence.
They sure did.
So basically, the skill cap for arenas. They really trying their best to save PvP because they know this season was terrible. It was terrible bad. They know it. They know it, and they really trying to save PvP in the game and balance it out as much as possible.
They have a lot to make up for from this season. This season was probably one of the worst seasons I've ever played. A lot of my friends, just had a terrible time. And I like what they're doing with the fact that they're taking out those spell locks, those blanket silences, because they're trying to go, okay, look, you're going to get punished if you don't interrupt on time. And they're going to make it where, okay, if someone gets an unstable affliction on you, you're going to be punished because you allowed them to get it, and you cannot just dispel it off of you and keep going. Uh, that's going to bring a really high skill cap to the game, and I'm looking forward to 5.2 and seeing where it goes from there because I'm really digging these patch notes right now.
Yeah, I'm really liking the patch notes. One of the big changes to me that I'm so happy to see. Cyclone is getting nerfed. Finally.
I'm sorry to all you feral druids out there and all the other druids that you're kind of getting punished because of feral abuse of Cyclone. I hate it for you, but at the same time, you have to admit being able to get two insta cyclones off is just it's insane. Uh, and the 30-second change is not going to be a big. It's not going to be a deal breaker. Feral's still going to be very strong in arena. It's still going to be very strong in PvP, but you're just not going to be able to single-handedly cyclone a threes team without any help. You can literally right now have your feral take care of all the CC and a warrior just kill whatever. Just tunnel vision, kill. Uh, you rarely have to peel if you're playing with a warrior feral. So, I mean, it sucks if you're feral druid, but it's a welcome change for the rest of the community because we are tired of getting constantly cycloned. It's the strongest CC in the game in my opinion, so I think it's a really nice change.
Yeah, I think it's a good change because I remember doing arenas with you. I was like, I'm feared. I'm feared. I'm Cyclone. I'm Cyclone again. I'm
Yep.
feared. I'm Cyclone again. I was like, okay, so I might as well just leave.
It's scary, man. And you can't get healed. You can't anything. You're just setting in a cyclone. That's so.
So yeah,
It's
the,
welcome change.
the shared DRs was needed, but instead of giving it to having letting druids have their way, they decided to give monks ring of peace. So it's like, is it worse or better?
I don't know. I'll have to see. If you guys see Sparknuts on the forums, QQing about Ring of Peace, don't hate me. Don't judge. Don't judge. It's a
Oh
possibility.
yeah, all the possibilities you could do a ring of peace. Well, yeah, guys, this is the end of episode one. Next time we're gonna talk about shamans, priests, and rogues. Oh my goodness, the buff to rogues.
Yeah, we may try to see if we can get a rogue in here.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get a good, well-known rogue that you guys know up in here to talk about the road changes because as of now, if you look on the forums, that's all the talk is about. Monks and rogues. They are globaling people. They're global people now. In a smoke bomb. Smoke bomb is something to be worried about again. You used to be like, oh, it's a smoke bomb, whatever. Now it's smoke bomb, dead.
Yeah. And as somebody who plays a warrior, all my warrior brethren out there, we do not want this cat and rogue stuff back. You know all I'm talking about. We went through pure hell at the end of Cataclysm. But I mean, we did have the dirty gurdy, as Bajir would call it. We had the Girthalak and all that stuff. But I, we, I don't even want to think about it. I'm just, you guys will just have to hear it from the rogue himself if he
Yeah,
decides to join us.
the
So.
cattle rogues are back. Well, alright, guys. This wraps it up for unreviewed first episode podcast. This is Straight Ace.
This is Spark Nuts.